Morning. Let us start with the third session of today's class. Third session of today's class. In the previous class, we discussed about the scope of business law, sources of business law was discussed in the previous session. Today, we'll discuss about the fundamental rights. Now, what is a fundamental right? Fundamental right is defined as the basic human rights of all citizens. These rights defined in para 3 of the Constitution applies irrespective of race, place of birth, religion, caste, creed, or gender. They are enforceable by the court subject to specific restrictions. This is what we call it as fundamental rights. Next, what are the fundamental rights? First thing is right to equality. Right to equality, when it includes equality before the law, prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, gender, or place of birth, and equality of opportunities in matters of employment, abolition of untouchability and abolition of titles. Right to equality is provided under Article 14 to Article 18 of Indian Constitution. Next, right to freedom. Everybody has got freedom. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association or union, cooperative movements, residence, and right to practice any profession or occupation, right to life and liberty. Protection is respect of conviction in offences and protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Right to freedom is provided from Article 19 to 29, 22 of Constitution. Next is right to exploitation. Nobody can be exploited. You cannot exploit anybody. So which prohibits all forms of forced labor, child labor, and traffic of human beings. It is provided under Articles 23, 24 of Indian Constitution. So nobody can be exploited. Next, right freedom of religion, which includes freedom of conscience, free profession, practice, propagation of religion, freedom to manage religious affairs, freedom for certain taxes, and freedom from religion instructions. This has been provided in Article 25 to 28 of right to freedom of religion. Now, right to culture and educational rights. So what does that do? This preserves the right of any citizen, section of citizen to conserve the culture, the language or script, and right to minorities to establish and administer education institutions of their choice. Article 29 to 30 of Indian Constitution provides for culture and educational rights. Right to constitutional remedies. In case if there is something which is not there in the fundamental rights, you can always go to the court. The Supreme Court will come out with a new legislation, and there is a constitutional remedy for it that has been provided by the constitutional remedy, and the Supreme Court upholds these cases. This is what all discussed in today's class. Thank you for hearing.